right, so this next part of the class, now that you have your topic narrowed even further, we are going to create what's called an objective or a specific purpose. Now this is on page, I think, 261 in your books. 261, 262, 261 in your books. Starting with the intent or the general purpose, we just mentioned three things that your general purpose could be. What were those three things?
People
Inform,
Okay, inform, persuade,
entertain.
and entertain. There's more. There's a tribute. There's some other things you can do. Inspirational. So there's more, but for the purposes of this class, we're sticking with the three. Okay, now that we know what our intent is with the audience, which for this one, it's here, the next thing is to describe the specific purpose, and the other word is to call it an objective. So in your book, they call it a specific purpose, but when you go to different places in the world, like the business world, they like to use the word objective. It's the same thing. So you know when somebody says one thing or the other, we're all describing the same thing. So on the side of page 261 in your books, there's a definition for a specific purpose. Can I have somebody read that for me?
A concise statement of what listeners should be able to do by the time the speaker finishes the speech.
Okay, thank you. So what your book has described is what you want the audience to be able to do, and that specifically is a behavioral objective. And that serves a great purpose for certain types of informative presentations. So I'm just going to write the word objective here. Your book is describing a behavioral objective, and basically it's what you're going to accomplish. You do not need to write this as a behavioral objective, but if we are, you need to be able to demonstrate that your audience can do something by the end of a presentation. So I'll demonstrate that in just a moment. A specific purpose is one sentence, and it needs three things within it. The first thing is you need the general purpose. The second thing, your target audience. So who's our audience for our first presentation and our second presentation?
Us.
You are. And then the very last thing is your goal or your theme, which is just what you did a moment ago. So in one sentence, you're going to incorporate these three things. So if I'm going to, if my theme or my goal is to talk about the castles in Ireland, how am I going to form this sentence? And you can say, I and you, the audience, in order to get through this statement here. So I am going to
Inform you of the castles in Ireland.
Okay, I'm going to inform you of the castles in Ireland. Have I incorporated all of these three things within one sentence? Yeah. That is a specific purpose. That's an objective. That's what you're going to accomplish. That's it. That's all you have to do. Now you can, of course, make this fancier and clean it up a little bit. So I could say, I'm going to educate my peers about the different castles in Ireland. Yeah, that sounds a little bit fancier. If I'm going to create a behavioral objective, or what I want the audience to be able to do, what I want you to be able to do, I need to have something measurable. So I would say something like, I am going, by the end of this informative presentation, my peers will be able to list the key castles in Ireland. And if you can list those 3, then I know that we've met that objective. Now this works really well for workshops when you're using a behavioral objective. So you want something that's tangible. So like by the end of this informative workshop, the class members will be able to build a workable website. And then we can look in and see if you actually have built a workable website. So if you are going to create a behavioral objective like your book suggests, make sure you're using strong language. List, describe, build, something that you can actually get your hands on and see. So if you're saying, no, by the end of this informative presentation, the audience will know or understand, I can't measure whether you know or understand something, or whether you agree with me if it's a persuasive speech. But if you're able to do something, if you're able to actually make it tangible, if you're able to test it, then use the behavioral objective. Otherwise, don't go in that direction. And because of this assignment, the way how this assignment is designed, this may not be the most appropriate way to form a specific purpose statement. Okay. Are there any questions? Okay. All right, now it's time to form your specific purpose statements. And you can go and check that.